Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. I hope that get me. I'm trying to set this up where I can record me good. These get a visual of me. So I'm trying to do this lesson. I'm gonna do the short Shabbat lesson. And where are my notes at? I just had it. Wait a minute. Here we go. I just had my notes. I just took them out. See? Oh, here they go. I had it over something. Yeah, we're going to do a short Shabbat lesson. Shabbat Shalom, Yasha'Allah. Shabbat Shalom to Yasha'Allah. Scattered in the four corners of the earth. A remnant, Yasha'Allah. And y'all do me a favor, please share my videos on my YouTube channel or any platform you see me on, whether it be BitChute, KSharm7, or Rumble, wherever I can place this lesson. Please share it. It's an important lesson. I actually read, and I'm going to prove a point why I say that, because you got people on different platforms like TikTok and saying stupid stuff. Like today I seen a guy say Jonathan was referring to the Giants, because my topic is about the Titans and Giants, and I don't want to say Titan versus Giants. I'm gonna say Titans and Giants, because I'm gonna get into that, because he made a statement about the Giants, right? And he said that Jonathan, son of Saul, said Jonathan had killed Goliath's brother. I said, that's a lie. That don't make no sense. And I, of course, you know me, I'm going to go read and do the research just to make sure it was a lie. That's why you can't take everybody's word for what they say and put out on platforms. You got to do your own research. I always encourage that. Read for yourself. Do your own research on topics. Because people can make genuine errors, but some people put out errors intentionally, put out lies intentionally, and they like to slander. I don't know what they get their little glory or jollies off, but it's crazy. That's why, I'm about to go on this short lesson. And it's called Titans and Giants. And you're going to see why in a minute, why I titled that. And it was a topic of something I wanted to go further into, because it's something I noticed just by analyzation. I know there was a difference right away. That's what made me go into it. And I'm going to touch on a couple of things, but right now I just want to get on this topic about Titans and Giants. I'm not going to say Titans versus Giants. I'm going to say Titans and Giants, because as you're going to find out, everybody know the story in Genesis 6. So we're going to go there. We're going to start there. We're going to start with the Titans, because I call them Titans because that's what they were. And you're going to find out real soon when you do your research, there was a big difference from those that was mentioned in Genesis than the others that's mentioned in the other parts of the book of the Bible. Let's go into the story about the Titans. Let's go into Genesis 6th chapter. And we're going to go into another book. And but I'll tell you that later. Y'all probably already got an idea. Yeah, it's going to get deep. It's not going to just be Giants, because I'm going to bring it up to, if the Spirit lead me and guide me, I'm going to lead it up to, well, I don't want to give it away. I don't want to give a spoiler, but it's going to lead to something else. But we're going to start off with the Titans, because that's who they were. Let's read 6, and after I read, I'll go over that, why I say that. Genesis 6th chapter, and we're going to start at the first verse. And it came to pass, when men began to multiply on the face of the earth, and daughters were born unto them, and the sons of the Most High saw the daughters of men that they were fair, and they took them wives of all which they chose. And the Most High said, my spirit shall not always strive with man, for that he also is flesh, yet his days shall be 120 years. Right? So he giving a bounds of life. He cutting off the length of days man should live on earth right there. It started there. But it came further down in the generations, though, because they were still living in Adam years at that time. But he was just making a really prophesying, telling you what was going to happen in the future. Right? And let's read 4th verse. There were giants in the earth in those days, and also after that, when the sons of the Most High came in unto the daughters of men, they bear children to them. See? They bear children to them. The same became mighty men which were of old, men of renown. 5th verse. And the Most High saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every imagination of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually. 6th verse. And it repented Yahweh that he had made man on earth, and it grieved him at his heart, grieved him in his mind. Right? Let's read the 7th verse, right? And the Most High said, I will destroy man whom I have created from the face of the earth, both man, beast, and creeping thing, and the fowls of the air, for it repenteth me that I have made them. 8th verse, but Noah found grace in the eyes of the Most High. And I'm going to stop right there, right? So we're going to go back now just to reference, since I read that. Now, right, we're going to reference the 4th verse, Genesis 6 and 4 now, right? This is what I want to expound on. Now, it goes more into details, and it further proves that the book of Enoch is part of the Bible, okay? Just deal with it, right? I'm just going to deal with a specific aspect of the book of Enoch dealing with the giants. So everybody calm down, get your, underwear out your behind, and just calm down, right? So relax. Right? So I'm going to read from the 7th chapter of the book of Enoch right now. Right? So bear with me. Please bear with me. Right? So hold on one second. These were titans. The proper term should have been used as titans. And the reason why I'm saying that, I'm going to explain why. All right? It happened after the sons of men had multiplied in those days that the daughters were born to them elegant and beautiful. This is the 7th chapter of the book of Enoch, section 2. It says, I'm going to read the first verse again. And it happened after the sons of men had multiplied in those days that daughters were born to them elegant and beautiful. And when the angels, the sons of heaven, beheld them, they became enamored of them, saying to each other, come, let us select for ourselves wives from the progeny of men, and let us beget children. Then their leader, Jasher, said to them, I fear that you may perhaps be indisposed to the performance of this enterprise. Right? 4th verse. And that I alone shall suffer for so grievous a crime. So they knew it was wrong, and it was a crime, it was a sin. 5th verse, but they answered him and said, we all swear. 6th verse, and bind ourselves by mutual execrations that we will not change our intention, but execute our projected undertaking. 5th verse. But they answered him and said, we all swear. 6th verse, and bind ourselves by mutual execrations that we will not change our intention, but execute our projected undertaking. So they all came in agreement. 7th verse, they swore all together, all bound themselves by mutual execrations. Their whole number was 200 who descended upon Ardis, spelled Ardis, Ardis, which is the top of Mount Armin. So that's the area of a high mountain. 8th verse, that mountain therefore was called Armin because they had sworn upon it and bound themselves by mutual execrations. 9th verse, these are the names of their chiefs. These were the chief of the 200. Jasher, who was their leader, he was the number one leader. Urakabaramiel, Akabil, Tamiel, Ramuel, Danel, Azkiel, Zarakanel, Asiel, Armors, Betrayal, Anan, Zavibi, Samsavil, Ertel, Terrell, Yumyael, Arazayal. These were the perfects of the 200 angels, and the remainder were all with them. 10th verse. Then they took wives, each choosing for himself, whom they began incantations and the dividing of roots and trees. So I guess it was a ritual, whatever they had to do to accomplish that, to I guess, to get to that size. But I'm going to move on to the 11th verse. Says, and the woman conceiving brought forth a giant. We'll read that 11th verse again. And the woman conceiving brought forth giants. 12th verse. Whose stature was each, check this out, whose stature was each 300 cubits. These devoured all which labor. Salah, I'm going to read that again. Whose stature was each 300 cubits. We're going to get into that in a minute. These devoured all which the labor of men produced, until it became impossible to feed them. So they was eating the regular sized people, the regular sized men, right? 13th verse. When they turned themselves against men in order to devour them, I'm going to read 13th verse again. When they turned themselves against men in order to devour them, so that, like I said, they was eating men, people. 14th verse, and began to endure birds, beasts, reptiles, and fishes to eat their flesh one after another and to drink their blood. Right? I'm going to hold on to this one because I got to go back to that number. Okay, this is the 13th verse. When they turned themselves against men in order to devour them, 14th verse, and began to endure birds, beasts, reptiles, fishes to eat their flesh after another and to drink their blood. 15th verse. Then the earth reproved the unrighteous. So the Most High, that means the Most High brought forth judgment on them. That's when we're going to go back to the Bible, the other part of the Bible. Now, I want to deal with that number of 300. It said 300 cubits. When you look up the math, do the math on the 300 cubits, because they say a cubit is about 18 inches. So, or more or less 18 inches. Man's hand, they say, is 18 inches. So, okay. An angel arm, they say, is a little bigger. So, we're going to go with the man's arm length. Regular size man length is 18 inches a cubit, right? This is just in the way. It's 18 cubits. So you do the math. And I already did it earlier. So that's going to come out to about 450 feet. So it says they was 300. 12 verse says they were 300 cubits. 300 cubits. So that's telling you they were titans. When you look up the word titans, I thought I had printed that out, but I ain't going to speak too fast. I'm going to look for it real quick because I thought I had it already set up. Bear with me. I had the definition of that somewhere in there. Tag, man. I thought I had that print. I know I had a print. I thought I had this set up already. It's supposed to have been already set up. Give me a minute. I just got to look over the paper where I put everything. Wait a second. Wait a minute. I know I printed it out somewhere. It's got to be somewhere in here. Oh, no, that's something else. That's not it. That's something else. All right. That ain't no big deal. Because what I'll do, I'll just go right to the dictionary. But you can tell from the measurements I gave you, those are titans. We're going to read the definition. The reason why I use that word, there's a difference between a titan and a giant. A lot of people need to make distinction, and that's all I want to do is bring up clarity. Let's go to the word Titan. And I'm looking out of a Webster, big old-fashioned Webster dictionary. They're one of the best ones, right? Let's look up the word Titan real quick, yeah, here you go. It's way up here. It says Titan, one of a family. This is the first definition. One of a family of giants, the children of Uranus and Gaia, who sought to rule heaven and were overthrown and supplanted by the family of Zeus. Okay, that's the Greek. It's not mythology. They just, Esau made up that story of Zeus and all that. You know, they say it's myth. But now the second definition reads this. Titan, a person of colossal size, strength, or achievement. So it can describe a characteristic or achievement, strength. It said a person of colossal size, strength, or achievement. So they clearly fit the definition of a Titan. That's why, and Esau knows this history. And that's why they came up with Greek mythology, because they had no great history besides destroying every damn thing. Okay? Let me put this back, right? Oh, let me read this one more definition. Because y'all probably going to say, well, how do they reproduce? Oh, they did. Let's look up the definition of Titaness. It's spelled Titaness. Titaness. Simple. A female Titan. How about that? So, as you can see, they had where it was able to reproduce. Now, we read the number. It said 300 cubits. 300 cubits, right? $300. So they were colossal. They was titans. They fit the definition of titans. They were mountain size. If you checked out my videos on my YouTube channel, which is H.I.S 1689 on YouTube, right? Scroll down. Take your time and scroll down. Might be a little long scroll, and there's a title called Giants Existed. And you look in the pinned comment section, there's going to be a link that takes you to my Rumble channel, K7H.I.S. And you can look at the photos. They were female titaness. They existed. They encrusted in mountains. How did that happen? Well, let's continue reading the Bible. It's myth. It's myth. No, it's not. It's real. Let's read a verse again. In Genesis 6 chapter and 8 verse reads, but Noah found grace in the eyes of the Most High, or the eyes of Yahweh. 9 verse. These are the generations of Noah. Noah was a just man and perfect in his generations, and Noah walked with Yahweh, the Most High. And Noah begat 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Right? 11 verse. The earth also was corrupt before the Most High, and the earth was filled with violence. And the Most High looked upon the earth, and behold, it was corrupt, for all flesh had corrupted his way upon the earth. And the Most High said unto Noah, the end of all flesh is come before me, for the earth is filled with violence through them. And behold, I will destroy them with the earth. And this is when he instructed Noah to build an ark. Make thee an ark, 14 verse, make thee an ark of gopher wood. Rooms shalt thou make in the ark, and shall pitch it within and without with pitch. And this is the fashion which thou shalt make it of. The length of the ark shall be 300 cubits, and the breadth of it 50 cubits, and the height of it 30 cubits. And it reads on to give description, right? So we're going to jump down to the in the 6th chapter of Genesis. We're going to jump down to the 18th verse. It reads, "But with thee will I establish my covenant, and thou shalt come into the ark, thou and thy sons, and thy wife, and thy sons' wives with thee. And of every living thing of all flesh, 2 of every sort shalt thou bring into the ark to keep them alive with thee. They shall be male and female." Right, so you know how that story reads, basically, right? So, the Most High kept the covenant with Noah because why? The covenant meaning the laws. So this was laws. The laws was always there. That's what I wanted y'all to pay attention to. So, yeah, I was dealing with some of the math, right? So it says 300 cubits. And I think you get, let's see, let me see, 18. Because I had it before, but I had it at 5,400. I think it was dealing with feet. So let me see. 0, yep, 0, 0, 8 is 24. That's about, it's coming along. 1, 0, 0, 0. And 3, yep, I was right. Comes out to 5,400. That's 5,400. You divide that into, and you're going to get 450 feet. So they were colossal size, man. They were colossal size. Now, I just read the definition of colossal, right? Not colossal, of titan. They were titans. And this is where Esau stole, once again, from out of the Bible and created his characters of Greek mythology. But a lot of it was true, but they never explained it. And the reason why I say that, because there's a movie called Clash of the Titans, which I did watch. It was kind of grueling to watch because the part when they showed them playing the Greek idol gods and all up in the so-called heaven, that vexed the hell out of me to watch. When I was young, it didn't bother me. But I'm going to show you how it looks. This is the movie called Clash. This is the 1981 version. Clash of the Titans. And the Titans was one in the sea and one was on land. The one and one conquered, and then when you watch the movie, I don't want to give a spoiler alert, but I'm gonna have to say that spoiler alert. Medusa ended up this guy was supposed to be the son of Zeus, whatever, right? And he the one who conquered Medusa, took the head off, and showed it to this creature that was in the sea, who was a titan. He was caged up in the sea. But I can tell you where they got that character at. They got that character from the book of Jasher. When you read the book of Jasher and go into the history, matter of fact, I have it right here. When you go into the book of Jasher, and I ended up reading about it, and I know that was the Spirit of the Most High because I didn't have it really planned, but everything coming together, my lessons coming together through the Spirit of the Most High. And when I was reading the history of the plagues of Egypt, this was the creature in the 80th chapter of the book of Jasher. Y'all bear with me, because I know I'm jumping from book to book, but this is the book of Jasher. And this creature that was of the sea was named Kraken in the movie Clash of the Titans. But this in the book of Jasher reality was way worse than what they put in the movies. The movie seemed watered down when you really read this history in the book of Jasher or your book of Yashar, okay? And the 80th chapter, and it's in the 19th verse. I'm going to read the 19th verse, how it was described it. When the Most High sent this creature against the Egyptians during the plagues of Egypt, right? It reads, 80th chapter and the 19th verse on the book of Jasher reads, "And when the Egyptians hid themselves on the account of the swarm of animals, they locked their doors after them, and the Most High ordered the Sulanoth, which was in the sea, to come up and to go into Egypt and she had long arms, 10 cubits in length of a cubit of a man. So it's showing you the cubit was a cubit of a man. So that was about 18 inches, right? 10 cubits. And she went up, she went upon the roofs and uncovered the raftering and flooring and cut them and stretched forth her arm into the house and removed the lock and the bolt and opened the houses of Egypt. He sent a sent creature to do that. 22nd verse. And afterward came the swarm of the animals into the houses of Egypt, and the swarm of the animals destroyed the Egyptians, and it grieved them exceedingly. 23rd verse. Notwithstanding this, the anger of Yahweh did not turn away from the Egyptians, and his hands was yet stretched forth against them. 24th verse. And the Most High sent the pestilence, and the pestilence pervaded Egypt, and the horses and the asses and in the camels and in the herds of oxen and sheep and in man. All right, I'm gonna stop there. So yeah, the sea creature was named the sea creature name was Selenoth. It was a female, and the arms was 10 cubits long. So Esau took all those ideas from it, and came up with the creature called Kraken. But the creature called Kraken is like watered down compared to what we just read. You see what I'm saying? That reality of the Bible is way worse than any invention we can see come out. Nobody's going to top the Most High, man, at the end of the day. So with that being said, we're going to go into the other precepts. And I was just wanting to make you let you understand there was a difference between the Titans, the ones that's mentioned in Genesis, were Titans. The angels were Titans back then. And their offspring were the giants that came later. Even Nimrod was a giant. And I'm going to get into that too. We're going to go into that too. The next precept, because I read Enoch, right? So that was supposed to go together. Now we're going to go to Numbers. We're going to go into Numbers 13. Numbers 13 chapter. In the Bible. Numbers 13 chapter. Numbers 13 chapter and the 33rd verse reads, and there we saw the giants, the sons of Enoch, which come of the giants. See, why does it read that way? I'm going to read it all the way through, and then I'm going to go in. And there saw, 33rd verse, and there we saw the giants, the sons of Enoch, which come of the giants. And we were in our own sight as grasshoppers, and so we were in their sight. So, and this is when they had to, I guess, scout the land with Moses. And there's some more information I want to get into that too about that. That I had printed out. I don't see it where I had on the certain ones I had printed out. Different set of papers. Yeah. So, yeah, it's like about, from the time of Noah to Moses is about 1,000 years. Because I did research it. I thought I had printed it out here, but I didn't. But, yeah, it's 1,000 years. So from the time of Noah to Moses is 1,000 years, right? Now, Enoch, if you know the story, see, the only way you get the story about Enoch, you have to read the book of Jasher. And we're going to go into it because because Enoch was a son. Enoch was a part of the Hamite family, and he was a servant with Nimrod when Nimrod was sick. I think that's in the 12th chapter. Give me a moment. Bear with me for a second. It's in the 12th chapter of Jasher. right? And yeah, here it is. Yeah. It's in a part where it says, you're going to hear his name mentioned, but it's spelled different, but it's the same person. Because they said it. It said it. We just read it. Matter of fact, let me read that again. It says, and there we saw the giants, the sons of Enoch, which came, it says, which come of the giants. Why it says that? Which come of the giants? Because, there was this offspring of the original giants that's mentioned in Genesis. That's why it reads that, come of the giants. It says, and Enoch, which was 33rd verse of Numbers 13 chapter, 33rd verse. There we saw the giants, the sons of Enoch, which come of the giants, and we were in our own sight as grasshoppers, and so we were this in their sight. That's how tall they were. So we're going to go back to this Enoch. Enoch was with Nimrod. He was a servant of Nimrod. Nimrod was of the family of Cush. His father was Cush. Cush was one of the sons of Ham. You see how you could trace it back easy? When you read, I'm going to jump down, right? But I'm going to go into, this is 12th chapter of Jasher, and a 45th verse reads like this. At the expiration of 2 years from Abram's going out of the fire, that is in 52nd year of his life, behold, Nimrod sat in Babel upon the throne, and the king fell asleep and dreamed that he was standing with troops and hosts in a valley opposite of the king's furnace. Now I'm going to jump down, okay. I'm going to jump down to the 52nd verse. And a wise servant of the king, whose name was Enoch, answered the king, saying, this is nothing else but the evil of Abraham and his seed, which will spring up against my Lord, my other one, and king in the latter days. Right, so this is them telling him, when Nimrod explained his dream he had to his servant, which was Enoch, and it says, and a wise servant of the king, whose name was Enoch. Enoch is spelled Anuki, but it's still talking about the same person we just read in Numbers. They mentioned in Numbers, showing you that he was of African descent. He was today we know as African, and he was of the sons of Cush. Cush was one of the 4 sons of Ham. When you go back to the tables of generations, the tables, Genesis 10 chapter, you'll see it right there. So I don't like when people mystify the Bible. Like they tried to say, I seen somebody make the statement on TikTok that Abraham was Ethiopian or something like that. I said, that's a damn lie. Abraham was Shemitic. Abraham came out of the sons of Shem. He was of the descendant of Shem. He was Shemitic. It tell you, the 3 sons after the flood was 3 sons of Noah, was his family was saved in the earth. We just read it. In Genesis, his family was the only ones preserved, and out of his 3 sons, it tells you the breakdown of that in Genesis 10 chapter. But see, that's why you got to read for yourself, man. You can't sit there and listen to anything that comes on internet and on social media, or anybody blurting out statements. You got to fact check all that with the Bible and go into the books, man. So I just read an insert of that Enoch was a giant. That's why it reads that way in Numbers 13 and 33rd verse. Now from there, this might be a short lesson, but from there we're going to go, he was the sons of Enoch. That's why I read that way. So I want y'all to follow with me. Let's go to Deuteronomy, right? We'll go to Deuteronomy, the 2nd chapter. Let's go to Deuteronomy, the 2nd chapter. Deuteronomy, 2nd chapter. Deuteronomy, the second chapter. Deuteronomy, the second chapter and 11th verse reads, which also were accounted. Let me go up a little because I started on port 11, but I'm gonna go up a little. It's Deuteronomy. We're gonna start at the 9th verse. It says, and Yahweh said unto me, distress not the Moabites, neither contend with them in battle. For I will not give thee of their land for a possession, because I have given Ar unto children of Lot for a possession. Ar is spelled A-R. 10th verse. The Emims dwelt therein in times past, a people great and many, and tall as the Anakims. So these were some other group of giants, right? And the Anakims are the generation of Anak we just read in book of Jasher. Those were the families of Anak we read in the book of Jasher, which was a servant of Nimrod. So they all were Africans, right? 12th verse. And no, that's it. It says, yeah, that's it. Because it says, yeah, but the Moabites called them imams. So they had different names for them, but they were all giants. The Moabites called them imams, but they were all originally known as Anakims. That's their proper name. Because they were descended from a man named Anaku. We just read in the book of Jasher. But they all were so-called Africans today. We call them Hamite. The biblical name is Hamite. Or Cushites, because they were really Cushites. Because they were sons of Cush. Nimrod's father was Cush. And Nimrod killed his own father. To tell you the insanity. And that's in the Bible. You can read it. The Harims also dwelt in Seir before time, but the children of Esau succeeded them when they had destroyed them from the before them, and dwelt in their stead, as Israel did unto the land of his possession, which Yahweh gave unto them. So they was telling you the lands that these different nations dwelt in. So remember, Esau, Seir means hairy. Before time, the Harims also dwelt in Seir before time, but the children of Esau succeeded them, meaning Esau conquered that group and took over that land of Seir. Yeah, so remember, Esau was a killer. And we read on this is a lesson on my video, how I went into the story of Esau killing Nimrod, because he was the next one to rule in the vibration of evil. And a lot of people don't understand, like from the fall of Adam, the whole earth been under the vibration of evil. And I'm going to be putting up videos to prove that. And I'm going to put up a precept in it. I might be talking and I might not, but I'm definitely going to throw a precept in there. So for you to understand. And it's funny to watch other people come to the understanding of what they're seeing now. But let's jump down we're still in Deuteronomy, 2nd chapter. Excuse me. Let's jump down to the 20th verse. It reads, that also was accounted a land of giants. Giants dwelt therein old time, and the Ammonites called them Zamzum memes. So you're going to find out different nations had a name for them. Right? And and it says of old time, referencing from the beginning of, from the time of Noah. Okay? Or the time of Nimrod and Abraham, however you want to say it, still in that time frame. Because it's the same thing, actually. You deal with Abraham because they lived a long time. Abraham, Nimrod lived a long time. But I don't want to spoil it. I'm going to read these couple of more precepts. I think I got about 2 more precepts I want to go through. And then we're going to go into another topic. We're going to go into actually the same topic, but you're going to see where it's going to take us. The Most High is great. Right? So from there, let's go to Deuteronomy, 3rd chapter. We'll go 1 chapter over, right? Let's go to Deuteronomy, 3rd chapter, and the 11th verse. Now check this out. It says, "For only Og, king of Bashan, remained of the remnant of giants. Behold, his bedstead was a bedstead of iron. Is it not in Rabbath of the children of Ammon? 9 cubits was the length thereof, and 4 cubits the breadth of it, after the cubit of a man." See, you know how they make distinctions of the cubit of a man? Showing you why, because they were giants, but it's showing the cubits, meaning the measurements. It was a cubit of a man's cubit, 18 inches, approximately. A cubit of a man is 18 inches. So that's a half a yard. 1 cubit is half a yard. Right? And let's get the measurements real quick of this giant, of this, let's get the measurements of it. Let's get the measurements of this giant. It says, let's deal with the height. We ain't going to necessarily deal with the breadth. We're going to deal with the height. Let's deal with the height. It says, what was he? 9 cubits, right, in height. So let's go 9 cubits divided by so he was 13.5 feet in height. 13.5 feet in height. That's what I got, 13.5 feet. He was 13.5 feet in height. So that's way smaller compared to what we read earlier of the Titans. See the big difference? Proving that it was the offspring. And that's why they said men of old and men of renown, referencing the first Titans. They were offspring. Right? Let's go to the book of Joshua. Let's go to the book of Joshua real quick. You know what? I might just deal with breadth of so 4 cubits. So that's not 4 cubits is it's 72 inches. So that's the breadth. So let's deal with 72. So he was 13, Og was 13.5 feet in height. And 4 cubits in breadth. So that's 17 inches, right? So let's do with this. 17 inches divided by 12. Let's how many you get? So, wow, he was 6 feet in breadth. Damn. That's ridiculous. That was, he was huge. He was a big monster there. That was the giant of Og. For only Og, king of Bashan, remained of the remnant of giants. Behold, his bedstead was iron, as it 9 and Rabbath of children of Ammon, and 9 cubits was his length. So his height was 13.5 feet. And the breadth was 6 feet. That's ridiculous. That's huge. Huge, man. Those are big dudes. Yeah, wait, 13 feet. 13.5 feet in height. Wow. Now let's deal with where we was going to? Joshua. Let's go to the book of Joshua. And we're going to Joshua, what? 12th chapter. Book of Joshua, 12th chapter, and the 4th verse reads, And the coast of Og, king of Bashan, which was of the remnant of the giants that dwelt at Ashtaroth and Adri. 5th verse, and reigned in Mount Hermon and in Salca, and in Bashan unto the border of Geshurites and Maacathites, and half of Gilead, the border of Sihon, king of Heshbon. Right. And I don't know if I mentioned it earlier already, but I'm gonna say it again. Yeah, I think I did, but somebody made the statement on TikTok that Jonathan slayed a giant. No, he didn't. That's a lie. I'm going to read it right now in 2 Samuel. You can find this in 2 Samuel 21st chapter, the 19th verse. And there was again a battle in Gob with the Philistines, where Elhanan, the son of Jaaragim, a Bethlehemite, slew the brother of Goliath, the Gittite, the staff of whose spear was like a weaver's beam. So his spear was very sharp, basically. And he slayed the brother of Goliath. And he was a Gittite. They all were Hamites, though. The Hamite nation, so-called Africans today. Cushites, rather Ethiopian, to be exact. Cushites were today the Ethiopians. So they were Ethiopian. That's why I read that other way in Amos when he said, aren't you not like the Ethiopian? And when you read that in the book of Amos. Yeah, because the Most High was comparing us by looks that we resembled the Ethiopians too. They was a dark nation like us, but we were Shemitic though. We were the sons of Shem. We came out of Shem, like Yahushua came out of Shem. But I'm gonna get into that too. Oh, this is gonna be interesting. Got to bring out some points. These are some points I wanted to bring. I had noted down, right? And I'm gonna give you where to look for it in the book of Jasher too. Now, Nimrod lived, because I got this confused too when I first was looking at it. Nimrod lived 215 years long. He reigned over the lands and over other kingdoms he conquered for 185 years. His reign was 185 years, but he lived 215 years long. Abraham lived 175 years. Hold on. I'm going to spell it for Nimrod. Nimrod was in the book of Jasher. You can find that in the book of Jasher, the 26th chapter and the 29th verse. Right? Now, Abraham lived 175 years. And that can be found in the book of Jasher, in the 27th chapter of book of Jasher, and the 27th chapter and the 15th verse. Now, check this out. This I know is the spirit. And it shows you what I said earlier about when Adam fell, the earth, when Satan had stewardship over the earth when Adam fell, right? So that evil went through with Nimrod, because what? Nimrod lived longer than Abraham. Now, when you do the math, you subtract the years of the length of Nimrod years from Abraham years. Nimrod lived 40 years longer than Abraham. The Most High always deal with numbers. Y'all know where I'm going. 40. We were 40 years in the wilderness. Christ fasted 40 days and 40 nights. So when Christ came on the scene, it was very symbolic and very important that it was important showing you that it was like a redeeming of us back to him. Because he was fasting for the nation of Yashar'Allah. Remember, the same ones, we the same nation that was 40 years in the wilderness. So he was praying that was a consecration for the whole nation of Yashar'Allah, proving that he died and redeemed us back also to the nation of Yashar'Allah. But it was a consecrating us back to the Most High. You see that? 40 years. So who had, out of Nimrod and Abraham, who had a longer lived for time on the earth? At that time of Noah and Enoch, it was Nimrod. Nimrod lived 40 years longer than Abraham. And showing you that was under what? The vibration of evil. Now I'm saying that to say this and show you something. When Yahweh shall return, what vibration he's bringing back on the earth that's like minute, worldwide? Righteousness. And it's only going to come through the children of Yasher. I taught that lesson on my lesson of Born Again. You can check that out. It was 4 parts to it on my YouTube channel. Born Again. But I can go through it now too, right? Showing you that he was going to bring the vibration of righteousness back on the earth. Matter of fact, let's get that. Let's deal with that real quick. I ain't in a rush. I got a few more minutes I'm going to deal with anyway, because I'm pretty much done with that topic as far as making my point with the giants. But now, like I said, I was going to segue into Hamashiach Yahushua, the chief priest, the eternal priest, the giant, the titan, rather, of righteousness. Why do I say that? Before I go into that, let's go to Isaiah real quick, because I'm only going to bring out a few precepts. Let's go to Isaiah real quick. Why do I say that? Because what did he tell us in the book of Isaiah? And what did he say about Isaiah? How about that? what did Hamashiach Yahushua say about Isaiah when he was in the earth? Y'all know it. Come on, man. Put in your thinking caps. What did he say about Isaiah, the prophet Isaiah? Y'all know it. Some of y'all probably already said it. But I'm going to quote it for you. He said, Isaiah prophesied well concerning his people. In other words, good job done, prophet. You did well in prophesying about Yasher. They're a handful, man. They're a piece of work. I'm paraphrasing with my words, but yeah, but he did say Isaiah prophesied well. He did say that. Let's read in Isaiah 47 chapter, right? Yeah, and the 3rd verse reads, Thy nakedness shall be uncovered, yea, thy shame shall be seen. I will take vengeance. I will not meet thee as a man. And it's showing you coming with what? Spiritual pride. He's coming with all his glory. He's going to be the new giant of titan in righteousness in the earth. Come on, man. What does his name mean? What does his name mean? Hamashiach means the anointed. Yahushua means he saves. What nation did he die for? The nation of Yasher. Do I have to go to it? Sure I do. I'm going to go to it for edification purpose. Let's go to the book of, and go to a precept everybody familiar with, right? Book of Acts. The book of Acts, and we're going to read the 5th chapter, and we're going to start at the 29th verse. It reads, Then Peter and the other apostles answered and said, We ought to obey Yahweh rather than men. 30th verse, Yahweh, the God of our fathers, raised up Hamashiach Yahushua, whom ye slew and hanged on a tree. 31st verse, Him hath Yahweh exalted with his right hand to be a prince and a savior, for to give repentance to Israel, Yasher, and forgiveness of sins. So that's who he died for, man. Where in the heck y'all get the whole entire earth, all the other nations? Where is that at? That's not in the Bible. We just read it. He said for the nation of Yasher. So the nation that's going to rule in righteousness is the children of Yasher. Just like there was a nation that rule right now in a vibration of evil, or the nation of Edomites, Caucasians, the wicked the Bible speaks of. Job 9:24. That's who's ruling over the earth. And there's other precepts to prove that. right? What it says in Proverbs 29. What it say? Let's say in, I think it's Proverbs, right? Proverbs 29 and 2. What it say? When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked bear rule, the people mourn. And the earth is in mourning, man. Right? So when Yahweh shall come, the people gonna rejoice. All nations gonna rejoice when Yahweh shall come. And this also proves what? The prophecy that was mentioned in Genesis 9th chapter. It goes right back. Who's gonna lead it up? Let's go to Genesis real quick. Back to Genesis, because that's why I like dealing with Genesis. Because it's a lot of history and prophecy in there too, as well as history. How about that? Right? I think it's Genesis, I said 9th chapter, right? Let's go over, Genesis 9th chapter. And it's in a 26th verse. It reads, and he said, blessed be blessed be out of one power of Shem, or blessed be Lord God of Shem, and Canaan shall be his servant. Why it says that? We just told you who came out of Shem. Jasher, 27th verse. Yahweh shall enlarge Japheth, and he shall dwell in the tents of Shem. Yahweh shall enlarge Japheth, meaning he shall be a very populous people. Though today people of Japheth are Chinese. And they're literally all over the earth. And in the land of Africa too. Proving the prophecy. And the Most High enlarged Japheth, and he shall dwell in the tents of Shem. Who's Shem? And Canaan shall be his servant. And this 26 and 27 verse is prophecy. Still future prophecy. How about that? They're going to dwell in the tents of Shem. Under who? Hamashiach Yahushua. He came out of Shem too. Because why? He came from the lineage, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Right? Abraham was Shemitic. Abraham descended from Shem. Like I tell you, to go to Genesis 10th chapter. Wasn't no damn African. He was Shemitic. Y'all can't read English? This is the English Bible. You know, those that was all on damn TikTok. You know what I'm talking about. Right? So, yeah. So with that, that's pretty much it. That's pretty much my lesson. I don't really have to go too further or stretch it, you know. I was going to, but I don't want to stretch it no more. I'll deal with another part of that another time, maybe a part 2. I don't know. Until next time, Yasha Shalom. Have a blessed Sabbath, blessed weekend, blessed life, most of all. Shalom.